Welcome everyone to this amazing battle between two young talents. One from India, other from Uzbekistan. Nodirbek Abdusattorov opens the game with 1c4. This is the final round of the Qatar Masters 2023. And you can see there Arjun thinking a bit, which means that his first move of his opponent has caught him a bit by surprise. Arjun already has half a point lead over the field, which means that if he manages to draw this, he would be guaranteed a joint spot at the top, and if he wins, he would be the clear champion. Nodirbek, on the other hand, if he wins, also would have a fixed joint first spot in the tournament. Well, Arjun goes for d5 and Nodirbek now plays d4, transposing it into a normal queen's gambit opening, but Arjun plays the triangle system. Now this is a slightly weird opening because instead of developing a piece, you are putting a pawn, but black is greedy. He wants to take here and hold on to the pawn, but Nodirbek goes for the absolute sharp line, takes here, and this is going to be an epic struggle because if we go into the main line, it is a pawn sacrifice line and there are fireworks. Bishop b4 played, and now Magnus had once played knight c3, which is a sedate line against Vishy Anand, but bishop d2, yes, that is the main line, and now Arjun takes the pawn. So now your bishop is hanging, but on the other hand your knight is hanging here. So he takes, and Arjun will take the knight, and now you see that white is down a pawn, but the dark squares are tremendously weakened. So bishop e2, fantastic move. Knight e2 is also possible. Knight comes to a6, asking the question to the bishop, where do you want to go? Bishop d6 played. There's also bishop a3, which is a line, and bishop a5 as well. Now the main move e5 used to be played, but queen takes g2 is a greedy approach. Black is now 2 pawns up, and the rook is also hanging. You need to save it. How do you save it is the question. Bishop f3 played by Nodirbek, and the engines do not like it so much, but of course Nodirbek Abdusattorov is very well prepared, and this has been played before several times. Okay, Arjun has to save his queen. Where will the queen go? It goes to g5. That is the normal way to continue. Think about the position carefully and try to understand what is it that white has got in return for 2 pawns. Knight e2. The main thing that white has is a lead in development. Look, the rook is coming in. Also, you can move the queen and long castle. And the most important of all are the dark squares are a bit weak, and black does not have a dark square and white has it. So these are the compensating elements. But is it worth 2 pawn deficit? We will have to see. Knight g3 played by Nodirbek. He has 1 hour 31 minutes on the clock, while Arjun has 1 hour 32. Clearly both of these youngsters are well prepared. Arjun pushes his pawn to e5, and already we are in a new territory where no games have been played. But these are the top engine moves, so you can never be sure how much of it is preparation. Nodirbek puts his queen on b3. Now this queen is slowly just putting a little bit of pressure on the queen side. Short castles played here by Arjun. The queen is nicely defending the knight. So right now you can't win material, but the queen can be pushed around a bit. Nodirbek is ready to push his h pawn, thinks a bit and plays it. Now the queen is attacked, right? And the queen has to move. But where exactly will the queen go? Do you go to g6? No, if you go anywhere, then you lose the knight. So the only place to go is f6. So he plays it. Okay. Now the queen defends the bishop here. This bishop is hanging. So either you can bring your knight to the center, or you can think about long castle. He brings his knight to the center. And once again, Arjun is walking a tightrope. He has to move his queen to e6 to keep the knight defended. He does it. How should white now continue? Because if black gets the chance, he would love to sort of push the pieces away, bring the rook into the game and so on. Ooh, long castle played. Wow. And f5 actually makes no sense because knight moves here and pawn pushes forward, check, and it would be game over. Okay. So Arjun can't push the pawn. The best move is rook e8. He saves the knight so that now there's no longer trouble with the queen having to defend the knight all the time. Is Nodirbek out of his prep? He's down to 1 hour 25 minutes. Could be that he's remembering his preparation. He goes rook g1, and this is a very useful move because at some point this check could come in and you can no longer take with the pawn. The king is attacked. Arjun goes for the most natural move, knight f5, attacking the bishop. But now guys, the next move is simply insane. This is the move which will simply blow your mind, and actually Nodirbek is still in his prep. Bishop h5. What a move. What a move. If you now take this, then I take with the rook, attacking your queen, threatening knight f6. And you can see Arjun now down to 29 minutes on the clock. He's thought for more than 30 minutes and plays knight to d4. This might not be the best move, but it's a fighting move of chess. And now Nodirbek's ideas of knight g5 are not possible because the queen is hanging. But this is a big threat, attacking f7. So he plays queen d3 again. Look at Nodirbek's time, 1 hour 25 minutes. What preparation. And Arjun is under so much pressure. Final round game. How is he going to come out of it? He goes g6. He attacks the bishop here. And the bishop has to move now, but actually it's not really threatened because this is pinned. But the point was to fight against this f7 pawn being attacked. Whoa, again the best move found by Nodirbek, f4. He's shaking up the knight's position. So if you take here, the knight would be hanging on d4. That would be a big problem. Arjun plays c5 and solidifies the knight, and he says, look, I'm 2 pawns up. I'm okay to give up a few of my pawns. And what is now commendable from Arjun's end is the fact that even though he's been out prepared, even though he's low on time, like nearly an hour, he still keeps the fighting spirit alive. Now knight f6 check is a massive threat to win the rook. So Arjun, with 21 minutes on the clock, goes in. This is confidence. This is the confidence of the youth. Knight is attacking the queen and the pawn. So the queen goes back, keeping in touch with this pawn so that queen takes c4 does not happen. And what does Arjun do now? He plays queen f5. Very interesting move. And he tells Nodirbek, if you give a check, I'll move my king away. And if you take my rook, there's a mate here. So that's the reason why an exchange sack happens. What a move. Because if you take here, your knight is hanging. And so he takes with the pawn. Okay. And now, okay, you can either give a check first. Yes, that seems right. Yes, a check to the king. And of course, taking here on e8 doesn't make sense because I would check and save my knight. And then I would pick up, this would be a huge attack on the king. In fact, there's a mate. Oh, there's a mate. So the knight had to be picked up. And white now has 3 pieces on the board. Black has only 1. So 2 pieces for a rook is a position. And Arjun takes, rook takes e5. Okay, very sharp position, guys, developing here. And now this bishop is a bit loose. The knight is a bit loose. And so Nodirbek comes back, bishop d1. Fantastic move. The bishop is very useful here and is an excellently placed piece. Could come here later on. And also that was the only square sort of for the bishop, which was safe. And Arjun now plays bishop e6.